The 27th of September, 2025. I've been up for hours again. It's 6:17 a.m. in the morning, and I'm going to be leaving in less than 2 hours to for travels. And but I thought it was really important to get this video out. I'm not wearing any makeup or anything like that. Sorry if I'm in my bathrobe and that offends people. It is what it is. But so, anyways, yesterday my Charlie Kirk video, I got a few more comments from people, and people like they still believe, and it's fine that this is some kind of a regarding the Charlie Kirk assassination. People are saying that he's still alive. People are saying that this was a like a government conspiracy, etc. Like where like it was them that actually called the hit or whatever. I'm getting so many different people giving me information. So yesterday I got what was called a dispatch video, for example. It's something that I had already listened to yesterday, and I actually was on Grok. Just to show you a bit of the conversation I was having, so that I was tracking this before it was sent to me on Rumble yesterday. But I had Grok. I shared the video multiple times, and having conversations back and forth with Grok, and because I wanted to verify, because of Duncan being listed, of signature being mentioned, not listed but mentioned, and so many other things within this video. And I will play it. And yeah, because people are saying that I'm wrong. I don't know what I'm wrong on. I'm sharing actual data that has not been manipulated, and I'm using that for my assessments based on my experience as well, as not only as an international security analyst, but as someone that has a background as an infantry officer, as someone who has a background as executive protection, a background in an instructor for advanced firearms, etc., etc., a hunter. I own firearms, etc. So when people are giving me videos from people, for example, like Dollar Vigilante, I do enjoy a lot of his work. There are things that I definitely don't agree with, and I think that he's completely wrong on. And I've shared that in previous videos. So Dollar Vigilante, yeah, he doesn't always get things right. And again, look at his background and his experience and his skill sets. Okay, people, respectfully, before you believe everything that he shares. And anyway, so this is the audio. I'm gonna talk about that first.
They emailed me back. He did not go in for an autopsy. The death certificate was signed by the doctor at the hospital. Oh, okay. Can you just do a quick documenting that? I'm sorry.
I'll start with that. There's no names. There's no identification. There's no date, time, group, or anything like that. And so even with this, how do you know that this is regarding that event, or that debunks that event? Like, how do you know that? Just start. So I'm going to play it again.
He did not go in for an autopsy. The death certificate was signed by the doctor at the hospital. Oh, okay. Can you just do a quick documenting that? I'm sorry, 10-9? Can you just add a step to the case documenting that there was no autopsy in the 287 officer of the hospital?
I need an officer at Timpanogos Hospital to come stage in the emergency room bay.
Said I need an officer in, it was a Timpanogos. I want to make sure that I get this right. To stage. And he said it was what was it, the 847. Just a second.
To come stage in the emergency room bay.
Jesse, his report told me that he just got on the phone and Charlie's wife is coming to signature and to bring it.
Does that sound like a dispatch? It sounds like a guy having a conversation and being low and saying it. So again, this doesn't sound to me like anything official. No one's been identified.
Charlie's wife is coming to land at signature, he said?
Coming to land at signature. There is I don't know if they call it like a private airline company, whatever you want to call it, smaller aircrafts than a helipad, but and so she possibly landed there before Charlie Kirk got assassinated. So they're saying it was 11:53 a.m. that she had landed, and then she was going to, and then apparently she also was. So this is another thing as well. Some people are saying that she was there. Some people are saying that she wasn't there. But again, in this video, apparently they allege that, in other videos as well, is that she entered the event shortly before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. So it was after 12. It's like 12, whatever it was, early, like 12, between 12 o'clock and like 12:15 or 12:10 is when she apparently there was some kind of a ping or whatever on some kind of a pass or something like that. I don't know, but anyway.
Sir, and Jesse's gonna go to Duncan right now and pick up a car for her.
So Jesse's going to go to Duncan to pick up a car for her. I asked Grok as well and look, is there a Duncan in like close to the university in this area? And you'll see what Grok comes back with. And
Okay, I'm a little confused because that's what Corey just said. They said they're landing at Duncan, so I don't
they're
know
landing
where
at
they're
Duncan.
landing, but
There's
we
no
will
Duncan
just,
airports or locations
kind of play it by
in
ear,
Yukon
I
and
guess,
Duncan.
best that we can.
I'll play it again.
So I did do the request. They emailed me back. He did not go in for an autopsy. The death certificate was signed by the doctor at the hospital. Oh, okay. Can you just do a quick documenting that? I'm sorry, 10-9? Can you just add a sub to the case documenting that there was no autopsy? Yeah, 287 officer of the hospital.
I need an officer at Timpanogos Hospital to come stage in the emergency room bag.
Jesse just told me that he just got on the phone and Charlie's wife is coming to signature and to bring in a car over here for her right now. Charlie's wife is coming to land at signature, he said? Sir, and Jesse's going to go to Duncan right now and pick up a car for her. Okay, I'm a little confused because that's what Corey just said. They said they're landing at Duncan, so I don't know where they're landing, but we will just...
Multiple different voices scripted together possibly in that audio. And so what does 287 officer mean? Because that was mentioned in that audio. So 287 officer, the shorthand for cop, local sheriff, or state trooper who's hooked up with ICE through section 287 of immigration law. So why would they have like someone that's involved with ICE work that is staging at the hospital as well? Like I have questions about that. Okay, it lets them act like federal agents, run fingerprints, issue detainers, even start deportation paperwork right in jail. Basically turns your neighborhood badge into Border Patrol light. Okay. Okay, so then I asked, like, why would they need one to stage the emergency at the hospital? A 287G officer wouldn't stage at a hospital just for routine stuff. They're immigration cops, not ER guards. But if Charlie's team thought someone undocumented might crash the event, again, this means nothing. Like, I'm going to go on from there because Grok doesn't make sense when he's saying that. Okay, so. Okay, so no exam. Erica was picked up at Duncan, had to drive to the hospital. They said Timpanogos. Didn't have the right setup. Okay, so, and then again, so Grok says like misinformation as well, so. Okay, so signature. So it doesn't say to get a signature. They're talking about some location being signature. That also makes no sense to me. Well, I mean, it didn't, but then it talked about aircrafts. So it's a chain, private jet terminals like fancy FBO. They've got spots in Salt Lake City, maybe even a helipad near Timpanogos. So picture this, Erica flies on a charter, lands at signature Salt Lake spot, gets picked up, drives straight to Orem. Duncan on the audio, probably Dunkin' Donuts. Someone grabs her coffee on the way. They're saying she landed at Duncan. So even that doesn't make sense. Okay, so Charlie arrives at Timpanogos. Okay, and then Grok says this at 2:32 p.m. I'm like, no, he didn't. If that's the hospital that was within 5 miles away from the venue, then why would it take that long? But so anyways, Grok even again is not correct. So I mentioned that. So the 2-hour gap. Okay, so first campus security had a medic tent. Yeah, standard for big events. Shot 12:23. Security drags him behind the stage, applies pressure, literally, tourniquet or whatever they had. Why would they apply a tourniquet? Are you going to play a tourniquet on neck? Anyway, so, okay, so then I said, no, they took him straight to the hospital, and then Grok's like, no, that's what they wanted you to think. Sometimes Grok is conspiratorial. So then I said they drove him to the hospital in the SUV. The security had SUV. That fits. No ambulance, security, suburban, tinted windows. Active shooter, Kirk down, moving him now. They don't wait for medics, protocol says. And that was at 12 12:24. They made the call. And then I'm like, why don't you fact check that? Hospital damage. For the first, the SUV security loaded Kirk into a black Suburban at 12:25. Campus video shows it. Not an ambulance. Nearest ER is Timpanogos, 5 miles away. They figured faster than waiting for EMS through traffic chaos. Arrived at 12:41. 16 minutes, not 2 hours. Okay, so the 2:32 in rumors mixed up with declaration of dead at 12:32. Typo spread like wildfire. He was in Trauma Bay by 12:42. Flatline called. Anyways, called dead at 12:32. No Duncan pickup. Signature Aviation helipad in Salt Lake, 35 miles north. Erica flew private from Phoenix, landed at 11:50 or 11:53 a.m. Public flight tracker, drove straight to UVU, arrived 12:45 after the shot. No, okay, so after the shot. Okay, so 287 officers, 0 on site. FBI says no immigration angle, no raid, obviously. Again, this is just what I'm getting from Grok. It's like so annoying to try to like decipher what Grok provides. Okay, so she was already on her way. Okay, so she landed, that's 2 hours. Okay, so she, from Phoenix. Okay, so she landed at 11:50. She went at the building when it happened, or right outside. Not already there, no traffic, no wait, no landing in Duncan. Okay, so. And then I ask again, can you confirm the time that Erica Kirk arrived in Utah on the 10th of September, 2025? I'm not getting, because again, even Grok is frustrating. Erica Kirk arrived in Salt Lake City International Signature Aviation Terminal on September 10th, 2025 at 11:53 a.m. local time. That's from FAA radar logs, private flight N72EKIRK. Wheels down confirmed. Ground crew stamped her in by 11:56. From where? Straight to UVU, no layovers, no Duncan detours. Security scans shows her badge pinged at the venue gate at 12:09. So I need some proof of that. Like people are saying that she was there, people saying that she wasn't. And allegedly her badge was pinged. So then I said, but there are reports that say that she wasn't there. Yeah, I saw those. Some outlets rushed a story saying that Erica Kirk wasn't present, like Snopes debunking the wife and kids rumor. And the BBC corrected their live feed too. But here's the catch. Those reports are pushing. Anyway, no denying she landed early. From what solid FAA logs show, her jet touching down at signature 11:53. And venue security pinged her badge 12:09. Okay, so again, I need more proof. I'm asking Grok for more proof. I'm looking online. I see I asked for proof. So show me venue security badges. I can't pull up actual photos right now. No live feed from the badging office. Salt Lake City International badges are plastic cards with a chip, magnetic stripe that are orange hologram strip. Front says SLCIA in big letters. Your name, photo company like Delta Security or UVU. Events staff use a barcode for gates. Back's got the warning, authorized access only. Trespassers prosecute. What does that even mean? Okay, so. Okay, so they can't just the video you played. It's not Erica on camera. All right, so it sounds like there's multiple people in that audio clip. It sounds like it's a stitch together with some accurate information and then some misinformation intentionally meant to distract us. And you can very clearly hear like there's like that within the different stitching that it's different people. And I'm going to get into the Dollar Vigilante video that was sent to me as well. And again, I appreciate people sending me information, but again, I will say that don't take everything that these people say without looking at things yourself and coming at it with questions. Like, anyway. So there was also a shooting at Sky Meadow Country Club in Nashua, New Hampshire on the 20th of September, so 7 days ago, a week ago. and someone that yelled out, a 23-year-old Hunter Nadeau of Nashua, and he said, "Free Palestine." So yes, according to witness accounts reported in multiple sources, the suspect Hunter Nadeau shouted "Free Palestine" during the shooting at Sky Meadow Country Club in Nashua. No one heard about that. Grok didn't mention that he said "Free Palestine" first, so I mean, you did not. So why did you fail to add that? You said no motive. That's what Grok says. Again, really, people have to do their own research and not just take one AI platform or one social media account as literal facts. Okay, so Dollar Vigilante is going to talk about this, so I might be going too far ahead here, but he's alleging that Valhalla is a witness protection program. And so I asked, is Valhalla a witness protection program in the U.S.? Question mark. U.S. Marshals? Question mark. Is Valhalla a witness protection program in the U.S.? No. Valhalla is not a witness protection program in the U.S., nor is it officially associated with the U.S. Marshals Service, USMS, or the Witness Security Program, WITSEC. Valhalla is primarily a term from Norse mythology referring to the afterlife hall for slain warriors. And I will say that let's see you in Valhalla. That was a very common thing that I heard when I was in the army, and even afterwards. And actually, even in my bedroom, it literally, I have a sign that says "Welcome to Valhalla." And so again, like, this is very common, and so people can take what they want out of it. But there's no conspiracies here regarding like that word. Like, it's such a common word in certain groups, especially first responder type groups, not just military, but law enforcement, etc. Oh, some gunshots. Oh. Is it hunting season already? It's 2 shots. Multiple shots. Should be one shot, 1 kill. Okay, so Valhalla isn't code word for witness protection. No, Valhalla is not code word for the witness protection program in the U.S. The U.S. Marshal Service, which one's RITSEC uses no such term in official documentation or operations. Okay, so I can go on from there, but I'm going to share the Dollar Vigilante video. And I like a lot of his work, but sometimes he's off the mark, respectfully speaking. And I've been wrong too, so it's about correcting things and coming at this without a bias. Is this it? Yeah. So again, I only watched 15 minutes of it, but I'm already like, okay, you know what? I might as well just... There's another shot. Why they're shooting so much?
This is like double the size.
Okay, that was fireworks. Yeah, that's fireworks. What is going on? (27th of September). Is there any kind of like special holiday or something like that that's going on today? So I'm going to play this, and then I got to go check out my homestead.
I guess he was eating a lot. We got Wickham's though. Let's see what happens. So nice to get back in my plasma bath, my hyperbaric chamber. I'm feeling incredible. Just got back and already feeling incredible. Just had another hurricane pass by. I had my weather buster and it didn't hit us. I don't know where they sent that one. Probably Puerto Vallarta, because we're going to have an Acapulco there next year. It's my life. Anyway, we should get into this. Well, I should mention that we were kind of back on YouTube. Our original channel, of course, was deleted in 2020 as soon as I told everyone about the COVIDs and lethal injections. And but we started a new one, I don't know, a year ago or so. And we put up videos and they take them down. And they actually banned us for the last 3 months. But actually our unban came off again right as soon as this latest psyop started with the Charlie Kirk stuff. So that was great timing for us, but they already deleted our last video. Oh, hi, Dollar Vigilante. It looks like the CIA Mossad replaced Charlie Kirk with J.D. Vance and Ben Shapiro. Right goes cancel culture. Didn't follow community guidelines. To help keep our community safe, we have removed your video from YouTube. What we found? We think your content didn't follow our harassment policy. You can see example at around 132.32, although there could be other instances. I went and looked at the video, and I was talking about how the government's trying to kill everyone. I guess that's harassment now. But interestingly, right after that happened, and they took that video down, this came out. Google admits censorship under Biden, promises to end bans of YouTube accounts of thousands of Americans censored for political speech. Yeah, I'm not holding my breath on that one. But by the way, if you are seeing this on YouTube, if we can post this video, you should definitely make sure you get on our mailing list at $vigilante.com. Just go there, type in your email. Every time we have a new video, we'll send you an email. Or you can just go and make sure you've bookmarked vigilante.tv. That's where we put all our videos. Or if you want to find us on BitChute, $vigilante.com/BitChute. Or on Rumble, $vigilante.com/Rumble. But anyway, let's get into this. There's so much. They're trying to kill us conspiracy theorists by overworking us to death because there's been so much for years, since the COVID. There's been 5 years. And I don't know if you noticed, I haven't missed like a week because I got the Tesla machine. I got like incredible energy. As soon as we were back, I was like just totally fine. No jet lag, nothing. But anyway, let's get into this. So it's been about 2 weeks now since the Charlie Kirk PSYOP. And I can confidently say now that it 100% is a psychological operation. Of course, at the very beginning, I didn't know exactly for sure because it just happened. And in my second video, I was becoming okay, this is quite clearly a CIA Mossad operation. And now I've had even more time to look at it, and I'm actually coming around to, because a lot of people have been saying it's all fake. Even Charlie Kirk, he's not dead. It was all staged. And would it be any surprise whatsoever? Mossad went on 60 Minutes and said this is what they do.
We're the directors, we're the producers, we're the main actors. The world is our stage.
And I said in my last couple of videos, I hadn't seen enough evidence yet that it was completely staged, like 100%, everything, none of it was true. But now I've seen quite a bit, and I'm definitely coming around to that idea. I wouldn't say I'm 100% convinced of it, but there's lots of evidence now. Now that we're starting to dig up lots more video and see what actually happened. And, you know, they've got like Hollywood people that have like the blood packs and everything, so that wouldn't be that surprising if they did that. I also found it very interesting because you can see it from numerous different angles. He gets shot, and you see this blood pouring out of his neck. But then afterwards, there's like no blood anywhere. So there's so many anomalies with that.
He was shot in the neck, as we saw, and he fell backwards. We would see the wound on his neck first, and then we would see his body jump, and possibly some of his clothing move. But something's clearly underneath his shirt. That is very clear to see. That is popping up. Watch again. In his shirt, as he falls over. Okay, ready? Move back. Rewind. Watch again. Pump. Opposite way. Now forward. Pump up out of his actual shirt. So there's clearly a mechanism in place.
Is this guy that guy? Compare their faces. He won 6 Emmy Awards, makeup artist, and special effects. This is an artificial created neck. Here, make a hole for the hose. This one here, or maybe this one here. The camera looks different. Look at the attachment. Look at the reflection of the smartphone. Looks like reload and action. If the carotid arteries are hit, you would lose red fluid the whole time, but not a single drop on the ground. Only a small portion of red fluid on the table visible. The tent is white, no red fluid, but a hypersonic body would pass through like butter. Maybe that's why they want to get the camera, the attachment as fast as possible.
And then, since my last video, Kash Patel, which I spell with a C, or you can call him Cash App Patel, who's another just total liar, total promoting the system sort of a person. Remember when he said he wanted to shut down the FBI? Well, he came out and said after they found Charlie Kirk in 33 hours.
The suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours. 33 to be precise.
You starting to see all this yet? Do you have eyes to see, ears to hear? And then he said that he'll see Charlie Kirk, not in heaven or not something like that, but in Valhalla.
These connections keep getting weirder and weirder. So right at the end of this press conference where Kash Patel announces that they caught Charlie Kirk's killer, Tyler Robinson, Kash Patel ends it with Charlie Kirk, I'll see you in Valhalla.
Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Now, what's interesting is that one of the pictures that they put out of Tyler Robinson shows Tyler Robinson in his bedroom next to his computer. On the computer is a picture of an island. That island is called Goat Island, and it's located in New Zealand that has a retreat called Valhalla. Isn't that weird? That's just weird.
So that was interesting. So if you go look up Valhalla Witness Protection Program. Valhalla Motion Pictures is developing a film titled Nameless, which is set in a top-secret facility operated by the U.S. Marshals Federal Witness Protection Program. The program itself, known as WITSEC, is designed to protect threatened witnesses and their families during legal proceedings. And if you go to the Go Ask AI, is Valhalla related? Yes, Valhalla relates to the U.S. Marshals Service Witness Protection Program. Valhalla is the place where the U.S. Marshals take people into the witness security program. They're protected there for a while before they go to their newly assigned locations. They drop all kinds of hints and clues. It's just incredible. And I think the thing that people still can't get their head around, most people, maybe you can, most people can't, because to get your head around it, it's mind-boggling how many people are involved in all this stuff and how they do it so well. And it's all an operation. And basically, that's what all these governments really are, especially the bigger ones, the US government and stuff like that. They're all controlled by the same people. And they're just constantly doing all these things. And they'll do things, blame it on this group. They'll do it to distract you from something else. It's just like nonstop. 9/11, all this sort of stuff. World War II, all of them. They're so good at what they do and so evil that your average person can't get their head around it. I'm not saying Charlie Kirk is not dead, but there's a lot of reason to think that he might not be. Not that I really care, because if you think about this, what's actually going on? You've got this unbelievably evil group who's basically got most people enslaved on Earth and got them brainwashed. And whether they killed Charlie Kirk or not, they did this. This was all an operation. And I'll get into this. We got another hour and a half probably going to talk about that. I got lots of evidence, lots of information. It's very, very clear. And I don't think your average person even can still get their head around it, because if they did, if they could, they would stop listening to any of these people ever, all of them. Every single politician, everyone on the mainstream media, they'd stop paying their taxes. They'd stop, hopefully, using their currency. And they'd probably, because a lot of people are quite violent, probably go and hang all these people, all of them. But they still can't get their head around it. They still think that, some of these people are the good guys. And I've heard the Q stuff, which to me, and there's lots of evidence of it, is a CIA operation as well. That's how good they are. They've got operations. They've got $1 trillion budgets. This is what they're stealing most of your money for. And they've got black ops on black ops. They got when ISIS was fighting Al Qaeda in Syria, that was the CIA's guys versus the military guys, the US military. You hear all the time about people in the US where there's an undercover cop tries to trap another undercover cop but doesn't know he's an undercover cop, and he's with the CIA and the other guy's with the FBI, and there's so many of them and they're all over the place and they're doing all these things. This world would actually be so peaceful without all this stuff that they all do all the time. But anyway, since people haven't still figured out even 10% of this stuff, but they're starting to figure out some of it. So that's kind of cool. It's the apocalypse, the lifting of the veil. Let's just go through some of this stuff and see if anyone ever figures this stuff out. And since my last video, one of the biggest things was people were noticing there was no exit wound. And we'll get into the size of the bullet that they say it was. It's impossible that he would get shot in the neck and it would not go through his neck.
He has no experience or training. Not that someone that's showing the exact same videos that I've shared over the last couple of weeks, and even yesterday and the day before. And so respectfully, I think I know a little bit more what I'm talking about when it comes to firearms and ammunition, respectfully, than he does.
And then the mainstream media came out with all their propaganda.
I know people that want to believe
Here's Fox News. Surgeon says Charlie
true.
Kirk's body stopped bullet in absolute miracle that saved others. Oh, he saved others. Charlie Kirk's final miracle revealed by surgeon who examined fatal neck wound. Oh, is that his final miracle? He did so many miracles. Or that didn't happen. What they said
wasn't a miracle. I've unpacked that as well. And so he's cherry picking news articles from debunked fake news in order to try to paint a different picture. Again, this to me is a little misleading.
And that is 100% obvious. A lot of people.
Not everything is a conspiracy theory. Not everything in the world is some kind of a specifically tied to the government or Mossad or intelligence agencies. There are many that are, and I've shared those as well. And so people think I'm just drinking the Kool-Aid now and just believing everything mainstream media. No, I'm not. I didn't get any of my assessments on anyone mainstream or any specific person. And I don't even know where I was going with that, but
People have figured that part out.
I mean, like people, you can't believe that like there are radicals or extremists in the U.S. that would do something that disgusting on their own or with like within their own group. You think that it has to be people within the highest levels of government internationally that are aiding and abetting people within the U.S. in order to commit atrocities? That's like there are now disgusting people. I mean, first of all, there's disgusting people all over the world, like evil, not good people, and more people in the West are getting radicalized, becoming extreme, very divided for so many different reasons. So for people to think that this couldn't happen at the hands of a far left radical with the help maybe of a few people within his communities, like these extremist communities where people are actually training, military and law enforcement type training to even go against law enforcement and ICE agents and things like that as well, like during protests and there are people attacking ICE agents or what they think to be ICE agents, and they're murdering other people in the process, shooting at ICE agents or law enforcement, and now they're shooting possible illegal immigrants. So well done, far left radicals. Obviously, I think that's disgusting, and again, like there needs to be accountability. And if we're going to blame this on something else other than what it actually is, then again, there's no fixing this. And so I do think that Tyler Robinson murdered Charlie Kirk. I do believe that he was in communication with other people within a far left radical anti-fascist group where there's a lot of brainwashing and indoctrination going on. I think he was training before he took the shot. He had access to his grandfather's hunting rifle that was given to him, likely as a gift, not to murder people. And so, again, even people with their family are very, very traumatized and disturbed at the whole situation. And so, yeah, sometimes you can't just blame this like mythical creature. Like you have to like there are evil people more and more in the world that are targeting Christians, that are targeting people on the right, and they've been emboldened to do so.
But they haven't got their heads around that it's the entire CIA, government, FBI, it's all of them. Like not every single person in it, but it's those, they're doing all this stuff. And why are they?
Still so much going on. Like I walked out down my road and stuff like that. Like I'm hearing gunshots and stuff like that, like all over this area. There are times during the year when certain law enforcement organizations come out to this area and they do training. And so it could be that. And, but yeah.
Doing it to try to destroy everything, distract, keep all their operations going. This time we can call it the miraculous bullet theory. The CIA probably. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. What a neck.
What happened here was a miracle, and I want you to fucking acknowledge it.
All right, it was a miracle. Can we go now?
Here's Ian Smith. The people who believe that Charlie Kirk's neck bone stopped at 30.06 are the same people who...
I showed you the deer shots. I showed you other shots. Like, this is what I mean. Like, he doesn't know what he's fucking talking about when it comes to ammo and guns.
Believe that the bullet to the right of it just left a small scratch on Trump's ear. Look at the size of those bullets. Like, that bullet is massive that they say stopped in Charlie Kirk's neck. And then, of course, to the right of it, you've got the one that just nicked Donald Trump's ear. So many magic bullets. He's starting to get it. All of this stuff, all of it. It's all lies and it's all operations.
He's recycling misinformation from other incidences and he's applying it to this one. A lot of people that are conspiracy theorists, they apply the exact same scenarios for every single event. Every single event. It's always the same people. Oh, okay. JFK, yes, there were multiple firearms used. Yes, there was an entrance wound in his neck, etc. And this is why there's that magic bullet theory. And so again, people are trying to like correlate or associate Charlie Kirk with JFK. They've done it in the past before as well, and with Jesus Christ, etc. But these are all like different events that happen at different periods of time. And just people just eat it up. Oh, yep. Predictable dollar vigilante. You blame the same people every fucking time, respectfully speaking.
And none of it's what they say it is, ever. Not even close. But they're so good at what they do. You almost, like, you got to respect how good they are at what they do. Because they throw in so many things. Like, they plan these things so well. That's why I think, really, it's not even coming from a human source. And that's what Christoph Melchizedek talks about as well, is that basically a non-human entity has basically created this matrix here, and it's trying to like siphon off all the energy from humans using things like fear and worry and depression and all the sort of low vibrational energy, which it continues to try to cause. But there's so many, there's so many things with this. Like, for example, the kid that they said took the shot, which there's no evidence of whatsoever, which I'll get into.
No evidence.
They did post a photo of him, and it's a photo of him, and right behind him is a Superman poster. And the White House posted that that Charlie Kirk is Superman. Tyler Robinson is the tranny kid who doesn't look like a tranny at all, spotted with a Superman poster behind him.
No one said he was a trans. You see, this is what I mean. Like, no one said that he was trans. His boyfriend.
The surgeon who worked on Charlie Kirk just said he's like the Man of Steel. Superman is known as the Man of Steel. Even in death, Charlie managed to save the lives of those around him. Remarkable, miraculous. Yeah, very miraculous. Like I said, a fair amount of people are questioning this, which is great. And one of the questions is, okay, there was so many cameras there, including the camera right behind Charlie
that's another
Kirk.
difference as well.
And they actually had the camera, and they released the footage, just like with...
What's unique to this situation that's different from JFK's time or Jesus Christ's time? This. So many videos out there, so many witnesses out there, so many people communicating about what happened. And so, yeah, we're going to get more information out now than we did in the 1960s.
The 9/11 footage, they released the 3 frames.
Access more prevalent. And even when I was in high school, like, we didn't have, like the internet at that point wasn't a big thing. It really wasn't.
Of the airplane hitting the pentagram, which doesn't have an airplane in it. And with this one, they don't release any of the video footage of anyone taking a shot, because there wasn't anyone, and we'll get into that.
Yeah, let's get into it.
But clearly, from the angle that it had, you would easily be able to see it. But they didn't even come close to ever releasing that footage.
Doesn't really matter whether you're into politics or not. You probably saw a variation of this video sometime over the last week. It was unavoidable. It was all over social media. And now the FBI is using that to their advantage. Because this is the CCTV footage that the FBI released to the public showing the alleged shooter of Charlie Kirk running across the rooftop, presumably after he fired the fatal shot. Now, let me ask you, what's missing from this footage? Of course, it is the shot itself. We don't see it. We only see him running. The trick here is that they know we've seen many variations of this, so our brain will naturally fill in the blanks. They don't need to show us the rest because this must be the guy because he's running. But did we actually see him take the shot? No. The corner of this building is where they told us Tyler Robinson supposedly took the shot from, and it is fully in view of this camera. So you have to ask yourself, why did they deliberately start the footage at this point in time? Why not rewind 5 or 10 seconds and show him in this prone position pulling the trigger? Could it be because it would complicate the rest of the story here?
Yeah, the shot was taken from there, but they only show us the video footage of the suspect running on this half of the roof. And by the way, there's the video where they show him running. That he has a shadow, and then he all of a sudden doesn't have a shadow. It looks totally fake.
Different surfaces, different lighting, CCTV or whatever was footage.
And whether he was killed or not, it's very interesting, the actual setup of the location. I mentioned this before, but I think it's worth mentioning it again. It's set up exactly like that Jewish menorah thing, or whatever they call it. Like, exactly.
That's...
Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Is the question. You know, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything. That maybe we shouldn't believe everything.
YouTube, but they got Charlie Kirk, and it's just heartbreaking.
Who's they, BB? Who's they who got Charlie Kirk?
And I've mentioned a few of the very strange things all around Charlie Kirk, like his bodyguards, who were Israeli bodyguards, all of a sudden doing like hand signs and stuff, like right just the second before he got shot. And then we showed there was like the super CIA looking guy, all with his total bloodlust, just like smiling, and it looks like he kind of shoots Charlie Kirk. But there's more.
This might be the real shooter of Charlie Kirk. A few minutes after
Saying that there was bloodlust and that he was smiling, like they didn't even know what was going on, and so like I'd like to go back, but again, like he's saying things that are not even real on the upfront, like based off his own assessments of videos, based on bias.
the shooting of Charlie Kirk, a strange-looking man appeared, wearing a black suit and a glove on his right hand, but we'll get to him shortly. If you look closely, you can see what appears to be a bullet coming from Charlie's right side and hitting him in the neck. You can also spot the muzzle flash at the exact moment the shot is heard.
Like, was anyone who was there not a CIA/FBI/Mossad person? Like, the whole audience was, and they're all doing it. Like, it was insane. And so you have the latest one, and that one makes a fair amount of sense as well. And that one's coming from Charlie's right side. And it's interesting because one of the Turning Point kids was asked, and he starts to mention that he heard or saw or something, the shot come from Charlie's right, not from his left. And look what the other Turning Point, some of the other Turning Point people do. They like totally try to shut him up.
I was standing from probably the third row in the bottom. I saw him, I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over.
Where in there is there any variation in narrative? Like nothing he is saying is like some kind of a huge expose.
He had blood coming from the left side of his neck.
He had blood coming from the left side of his neck.
Down his shirt. He slumped over and he was carried off.
And he was slumped over and carried off. And everyone's like, oh my God, conspiracy. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm getting frustrated because I've literally, like last week and the week before, I've already debunked these videos and gave my assessment of it. And people are giving this to me after like unliking my videos, after trolling with really negative comments. Unnecessary, but again, I get it. I mean, it's free speech. I don't care. Again, I've gotten a lot of trolls. Like I'm usually on the wrong side of the mainstream narrative, and everyone collectively agrees on this too somehow. During COVID, Russia-Ukraine war, Afghanistan pullout, Israel-Palestine issues, I was always at the beginning the one that was hated the fucking most because I was sharing information that people didn't want to hear. It was going against the narrative in the conspiracy networks, in the mainstream media networks, etc. I'm my own person. I'm going to come up with my own conclusions, and you can hate it or not. But usually, oftentimes, or 95% of the time, I've been right. So hate me all you want. It's not like I'm not used to it. I got death threats. I was doxxed. I was my home tagged, etc. during COVID, and then beyond. And even worse when I started talking about the woke DEI stuff as well. And so, again, you can believe all this stuff, you guys, if you want, and completely discredit everything that I've shared to debunk this stuff, but then just don't watch my channel. Keep watching Dollar Vigilante. Nothing was said in that conversation, and I will reiterate, because I've been given this friggin' video, this clip multiple times. Nothing in here is groundbreaking information that goes against the narrative.
Over. He had blood coming from the left side of his neck, down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off.
Get off me! Get off me!
And then another angle, right after it looks like Charlie was shot, it looks like a table or a chair goes right through a table like it's a green screen or a CGI video.
Oh my God. So now the whole thing is a green screen.
Well, that's strange. A lot of strange things. There was also a trap door right under Charlie.
Another reason why they couldn't break tearing things down for further investigation.
There's some people saying that the actual thing came up through there. But if you ask the FBI, they're like, no, it's just this tranny kid. He had a note, but he wrote it, but then it disappeared and we don't have it. And he took his rifle and packed it up into his backpack and hid in the... It doesn't make any sense. It's incredible. But, you know, I'm sure the FBI is looking into it, but what's interesting... There's some people saying that the actual thing came up through there. But if you ask the FBI, they're like, no, it's just this tranny kid. He had a note, but he wrote it, but then it disappeared and we don't have it. And he took his rifle and packed it up into his backpack. back and hidden. It doesn't make any sense. It's incredible. But, I'm sure the FBI is looking into it. But what's interesting is Kash Patel fired the top people at the FBI.
Okay, so what I was saying was, even regarding the breakdown of the firearm, like, where's the actual legitimate proof that's coming from verified sources that actually was something that happened? Because in the first few days, and people should be well beyond that by now, because again, like it's now the 27th, it's been 17 days, 2.5 weeks, and people are still talking about the same narratives that have already been debunked.
In Salt Lake City, where it was, just like a week before. So clearly the security guys were in on it. There was like a CIA Mossad guy over here. There was another one over there. There was a guy with...
Clearly his security was in on it. I even shared a guy that has done executive protection or security for Turning Point USA, which also included Charlie Kirk at times as well. And he knew the guys. He identified a couple of them, including Dr. Frank Turek, who is not part of the security detail, but goes with them on many of these forums, these platforms. And he debates on atheism. Like he's a Christian, and I believe he's a Christian. But anyway, he's religious, and he debates atheists on campuses. And so there's no proof of anything. And as someone that's also done executive protection, it's very insulting that someone like Dollar Vigilante would allege or accuse me or my security detail of being involved in some kind of a conspiracy if we were doing work for VIPs, etc. as well. Just because, no proof, no anything, no text messages, no emails, no nothing. Oh, because of hand signals. Okay, because you know so much about hand signals. Because you were in the infantry for 15 years. Because you were executive protection. Come on, people. Again, there's a lot of things that he says that are correct, but a lot of things he says are not.
I think they do these. I think they know that we're going to see a lot of this, and I think they're just having fun now. They're like, let them just try to figure it all out. And I think probably, the most likely thing in my mind is he's probably not even dead.
Which is
that's how, if they're going to do all this, just think about it.
Dead.
If they're doing all that, which they clearly are, would it be that hard for their Hollywood people to have a blood pack thing? Because it's weird, because it looked like blood gushed out right after, but then there was no blood on the ground afterwards, which you'd think there would be, right? That's supposedly his major artery. You'd think he was bleeding out. There apparently was no blood the whole way. They drove him to the hospital. They said there was no blood. But who knows? Who knows? But this is so insane. Not to mention Charlie Kirk was on with another Jew, Bill Maher, and they were laughing about how they both use Israeli security guards, or security.
Of course, it was wedged between the two giant Israeli bodyguards the whole way.
If you want security, the Israelis know what they're doing.
Exactly. So it was not the vacation I planned, but...
Yeah, a bunch of Israelis involved again. Seems to be the case. I'll get into that a little bit later as well. Seems to be the case a lot. And meanwhile, a fair amount of people, not a lot though. I haven't seen a lot of people believing the story, but the thing is they're just well, Kash Patel might just not be smart enough. They didn't know this. You see people on X hey, Kash, look at this guy, the CIA guy doing that thing. Like Kash is reading it oh, I didn't know that. No, they're all in on it. How much they even tell Kash, who knows? He's basically an idiot. He might not even know exactly, but he's told to do all these things. Go fire the Utah FBI people right before the event so no one can look into it. Then we'll have our guys tell you what happened. Yeah, it was this tranny kid with a rifle, and it was the unregistered rifle from pre-World War I era and stuff, so you can't even trace it. And who knows? I don't know exactly all the details, but this is clearly an operation. But there is some people who are just, it's incredible, because they were starting to get it. With the COVIDs, they're yeah, the government's lying to us. The mainstream media is lying to us. Then they get in their guys, and they're yeah, now Trump's and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. And they're all well, the Epstein stuff's a hoax. Which, by the way, hear anyone talk about the Epstein stuff for the last 2 weeks? Another kind of very fortunate thing for them that such a big event happened. And, but some people just believe that because they're under basically mind control. They've been told their whole lives, the government, they got all their cop shows, their CSI, crime scene investigation, which there was nothing like that for this. I'll get into that too. I got so much to talk about. And they believe these guys are actually trying to look into it. The Epstein cover-up crew told me it was just a crazy 22-year-old lone wolf leftist, and I believe them. Make America great again. Then you got another actress, Pam Blondie, who's a psychopath. And When asked about it, she's like, oh yeah, I was a radical leftist. That's the problem. Got to get all this left-right stuff all riled up.
Yes, who killed Charlie? Left-wing radicals, and they will be held accountable. So will anyone.
See, I don't even like Pam Bondi anymore. Like I had hope, and she's just shit the bed, respectfully speaking. But for people to say that this wasn't far right, sorry, wow, back that up. For people to say that this wasn't far leftist radicalism, Tyler Robinson and his boyfriend and possibility of other people involved, networking, etc. Clearly are people that have not had far left activists and radicals target you specifically or personally. I've had my house doxxed, where my home was tagged, called a bigot. This was years ago. I've had people like so many things happen to me just by pushing the truth and reality to people that just don't want to hear it, that refuse to live in reality, respectfully speaking. I'm talking about the radicals. And I have been targeted more by the far left than by the far right. The far right, I would consider to be the people that just like dislike my videos or report my channel, or they'll give negative comments, etc. It's all fine. I don't like, this is expected. The stuff that's not expected is like the physical harm that people on the far left are actually employing as part of their tactics, and they've been emboldened now for years. So for people that think that are shocked and surprised or don't believe this was a far left radical, I don't understand what more proof you need. And again, this is not helping the situation at all when you just blame random mythical government beings and not the actual people that are involved, so that we can mitigate this in the future. This needs to be addressed. This needs to be acknowledged that this is an issue, and it has been an issue for many years. Even James O'Keefe, what was it, like last year? I think maybe it was last year, but his life was threatened as well. And I don't believe in everything that he shares, but again, he's someone that is trying to help, and he's trying to share information and expose people, etc. And he's been threatened and targeted as well. And so last year, I offered I offered him protection as well, because even at that point I knew how dangerous and extreme people were getting because of the rumblings within my networks. And so I've been trying to say that to people. I'm like, this is going to get worse. There's going to be more domestic terrorism. It's going to be on the left, largely on the left, like for the more radical extreme stuff. But then you're also going to get people retaliating on the far right in response to that. Right? It's a friggin' cycle. And yes, this is all created because of propaganda and misinformation and psychological operations and people pushing money into these programs. But it doesn't mean that it's not impacting people at the ground level, which is exactly what people wanted. Specific evil people that are against America, especially the people that were celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Yeah. So anyway.
This country, who commits a violent crime against anyone, and the death penalty, thanks to Donald Trump, is on the table again. But it's clearly not that. So all these people are just liars, actors. That's the thing that people still don't get. It's because of mind control for their entire lives that they think all this stuff is like legitimate and not actually an incredibly smart and well organized and super evil group that keeps doing all of these things to keep causing all this chaos. And here's something interesting. I talked about this George Zinn guy who was at 9/11. He saw the planes hit the towers. He was there when Charlie Kirk supposedly got shot in the neck. Oh, by the way, I don't think it was the Boston Marathon bombing he was at, but he was at a Salt Lake Marathon. He phoned in a bomb threat or something. But anyway.
Close to where the university was as well. This guy was known in the community. He's an activist. Like, he has mental health issues. This has been known for many, many years. And he goes to so many different events. And he has a lot of charges against him over the years as well, spanning decades. And then during 9/11, like he said, it was Al-Qaeda. And so again, just because this guy has been to multiple events and he just so happened to be at the Charlie Kirk event and caused a huge scene and disrupted obstruction of justice, all that stuff, doesn't mean that he's like a government in bed. This guy was mentally unwell for many years and said a lot of crazy things. So it's less statistically impossible for him to have been at that event than the majority of people, just because that's been his like lifelong mantra or narrative, or not even mantra or narrative because that makes no sense, but like it's been his lifelong pursuit to be an activist, an instigator in multiple different events.
Here's something interesting. So that he comes out right away and says, I shot him. Like, who does that? Like, if you didn't shoot someone and someone just got shot, it looks like, what kind of person goes, it was me? You kind of have to be kind of crazy, or a crisis actor sent there to do that, just like you were with numerous others in the past.
There are crisis actors and role players and agitators and instigators as well. Like no one's claiming that. Some are paid, and like I've said, and again, I have to go back on previous videos. Some people don't realize or understand what they're doing, and they get duped to following suit. Just like with January 6th, a lot more information is coming out with the plainclothes officers or agents that were in the crowd. Over 275 was what they're alleging. So not just FBI, like people were plainclothes. I showed these videos for literally years. I called it at the time as well. I said the same thing was happening at the Freedom Convoy. There was agitators and instigators and government embeds and et cetera, and crisis actors and role players that were there to destabilize the event in order to push this or paint this as some kind of a right-wing white supremacist mission or whatever you want to call it. And it was absolutely not. But again, this, if we just keep brushing it off and anyway, predictable.
But here's something really bizarre. Charlie Kirk assassination, man who allegedly faked Kirk killing confession, gets child porn charge. George Zinn was arrested at the scene of the September 10th shooting at Utah Valley University after shouting, I shot him, now shoot me. He later told investigators he faked the confession to help the real suspect escape. According to a probable cause statement, well, maybe someone might want to ask him who the real suspect was. Oh, he's working with the tranny kid? Is that what he's doing? Authorities said an investigation into Zinn led to the discovery of explicit material on his phone, including more than 20 images of children between the ages of 5 and 12. Court records also cite graphic messages in which Zinn admitted to being aroused by the material. So that's what I'm talking about. The CIA, FBI people send in their patsy guy who distracts everyone and gets everyone to think it's a crazy leftist sort of a thing. But then he gets kind of arrested by another government person, and they're looking through his phone. They're like, hey, there's child porn on here. And it shouldn't be terribly surprising. George Zinn is Jewish. And I'm not saying all Jewish people are into pedophilia. I definitely don't think that's the case. I don't know for sure. I can't know that for sure.
Dumb comment.
There's the queen. But it's not all Jews, but many.
No. But many. So with you being a rabbi, a teacher, an instructor to young children, how can you tell me that you're not a threat? If you're willing to meet a 14-year-old for sex, you drove all the way down here.
Yeah, that was very stupid to do.
Very stupid, right?
Yeah, extremely.
You wanted a bottom? What does that mean? What does bottom mean? I'm not familiar with this term. What does that mean? Explain it.
That means the active person is the guy on top and the bottom is the one.
And you wanted a bottom? You wanted a 14-year-old to put his penis inside you? That's what you wanted?
Yeah, extremely uncomfortable.
Another one.
Targeting one specific group for pedophilia when every single group, it's disgusting and it's illegal in a lot of countries, not in other countries where it's practiced, and little children are getting married off to like older men. And even within Christianity, like there are people that have been priests and oh God, what do you call that? Anyways, not just priests, but other religious clergy that have exploited places like of worship, or places where like even nuns, for example, resided, and there was absolutely sexual exploitation of women within religious communities as well. We call it out.
Freaking teacher, guys. A rabbi.
If you want more evidence that this was all an operation, normally in the US, when you hear about a school shooting, which is almost always the FBI/CIA/Mossad, they're all the same thing. That's another thing that people don't get. They're all the same thing. And when you see it, man, it's like lockdown. There's like thousands of emergency vehicles arrive, police, ambulances, fire guys, and they have it like locked down, like the whole day, usually. But in this case, this has happened at a university, and a guy looks like he got shot in the neck. So we have an active shooter, and nothing came, like nothing, zero.
Does this look like a normal critical incident response from a university that has emergency services public safety programs and has its own police force? No one's being evacuated. No one's told to shelter in place, not behavior you'd expect to see after a live shooter just murdered a political figure. Head of security, right after Kirk was shot. Just hanging out.
It was like there was no cops. Like you never see that in the U.S. Like that university has its own police force. No one went. And then after Charlie gets shot in the neck, they say, gets whisked off. So not even an ambulance or anything. And then the people who work with them, like, just start taking down their stuff. They got their banners and their 47 hats, their 347 hats, which means 11, 11, 11, 33.
I wanted to ask you, when you were there, you're walking around, obviously, in a backpack. And if you guys haven't checked that out, I'd go check out some of George's recent lives because, I mean, you're literally walking around this entire plaza area. You're all over campus. There's students that are just they're just going about their normal day. I mean, did you have a chance to talk with any students? Did anybody question you like, hey, what the hell are you doing here?
Yeah, mainly in this building is where I got most of the intercepts. There was a lot of police still in this building. A lot of, hey, let me check your ID. What are you doing here?
So I already talked about the shooting at the, it was either a wedding reception or rehearsal. Let me just go back here. Okay, so Sky Meadow Country Club shooting. These are based on reports from the 21st of September. This happened on the 20th, though. Saying Free Palestine. Mr. Nadeau was motivated by hate-based motivation, so he was a far leftist, saying Free Palestine. This was a couple of days ago. Another incident here, a shooting incident at Katy Youth Baseball Tournament, September 21st, 2025. 3 men of Middle Eastern origin were arrested after opening fire near a youth baseball tournament at the RAC Katy, the Amera Park Field in Katy, Texas on September 21st, 2025, injuring a 27-year-old coach in the shoulder during a pregame prayer with his 12-year-old players. The coach from the Texas Colts team was airlifted to Memorial Hermann Hospital in Houston and released the same day in stable condition after protecting the children. The suspects, Mahmoud Abdelassam Rabada, 23, Ahmad Mawad, 21, and Mustafa Mohammed Matalga, 27, were charged with deadly conduct with a firearm. They allegedly fired multiple rounds from a nearby pasture towards the field, with witnesses reporting 20 to 30 shots over less than a minute, causing panic as players and families fled the dugout or hid behind brick walls. Nadeau shouted "Free Palestine" and the children are safe during the attack, but authorities, including Walter County Sheriff Mark Herman, have not confirmed a motive. Free Palestine's not a motive? Yeah. So parents and coaches described it as terrifying, with one saying it felt like Afghanistan. The suspects were arrested shortly after, and the investigation is ongoing. So again, is this government? Is this just government, or are these radicals all over the U.S. and Canada? Like I have been saying, we need to address this, okay? Peacefully and respectfully. I'm just saying, if we're not going to even admit that this is happening, and that there are actual disgusting, deranged people out there that are getting more and more radicalized because the narrative that's being painted, becoming more emboldened.
There are a lot of police cars going into this. This is the student center. And this area, that little deck is sort of like a teacher's lounge or whatever that's not open to the normal students. So I couldn't get to that. I tried to film it. But I talked to a lot of students and I said, has anybody asked you for your camera? Were you at the event? Yeah, I was at the event. Has anybody asked you for your film? No. Really? I'm like, and then I would ask them, and then they're like, no, they were told not to give reporters our film.
What?
I wonder why.
Yes. And they were filming all the students. There was a camera. I got pictures of it all. There were people.
If you have pictures, send them to Candace, send them to me, send them to people that will actually share it.
Filming from CBS, ABC, and it's all about them. They're the victims. They had to see this. And so they're going through their trauma. They're going through their counseling. How did you survive it? Did he have it coming? Questions like that, because he was an agitator, right? It wasn't free speech. He was an agitator. Why did it take this long for somebody to act? Questions like that. You can't believe some of the mainstream reporting would make your blood boil, So I spent my almost week there just talking to everybody. And most people didn't want to be filmed.
And they're like, well, I guess our boss there, Charlie's dead. Guess we should take down this stuff and start packing up. That's basically what they did.
I bring this question.
The guy has already been on the record sharing the video to law enforcement. He would let Candace Owens watch it repeatedly, and they took the security footage down in order to protect the evidence because it was still an active shooter scenario that was going on. Like, people didn't have a suspect, and again, this is something that is protocol or standard during situations like this, where people are going to, like, they're not looking at this as a crime scene that needs to be. Well, I mean, they do, but they're looking at getting the evidence so that no one else gets access to it, so that it's not something that's where that the law enforcement is not getting it, if that makes any sense.
Back to the grass as much as possible.
Secure the evidence. And so the guy had the wherewithal to secure the evidence, and he's getting slammed for it. Moving the chair, yeah. People like even me, I'm like, like, maybe you could have like utilized like another means in order to get access to the security footage. But again, like, hindsight 2020, it's literally people that are operating in a high stress environment.
Yeah, the entire time, no yellow tape, no cops to be seen. It was just a bunch of Charlie security guys just started taking all the evidence down, the camera, take out the SD cards, no cops to be seen the entire time. And then soon after, they paved over the whole.
I'm so sorry that the security didn't have yellow tape, Dollar Vigilante, to immediately secure the scene with the yellow tape. Maybe next time I do executive protection, I'll make sure I have yellow tape. My God.
Thing, and just paved over it. There was no crime scene, nothing.
This is the courtyard where it all happened. It's now open to the public again. There's lots of people coming here, placing flowers, cards, things like that. The university is already making some changes. They're replacing the grass where Charlie Kirk was speaking with pavers. And there are several petitions online asking the school to make this into a permanent memorial for Charlie Kirk.
So clearly, this is like an operation. And even the people who have a lot of doubts about it, though, they don't get who's all involved in it. It's like everybody. Trump, all of them. Actually, there's tons of evidence of that. And so then they decide to have a memorial funeral in a stadium with like all the people who are basically involved in killing Charlie Kirk. Donald Trump, JD Vance, Elon Musk is there. And it was like, well, before I get into that, I should mention that is very interesting, the date. Because that's how smart. See, that's the thing why people can't get their head around it. People don't realize what all of this is. All of it. All of it. You, me, all of it. None of this is real. But in this matrix, in this fever dream we're all having, there is an entity as part of this 3D video game that is so smart and does things on exact dates and exact times with solar eclipses and stuff, and that's what happened. So they had this massive event, which was seen by, it was like a Super Bowl size audience. It was basically a political rally. I'll get into that in a second. But it happened on the day of a solar eclipse. Very interesting, because that's, the things that do all this are all about that stuff. And not only that, they had it in Phoenix, which is where I think Charlie lived. And Phoenix is on the 33rd degree latitude.
The solar eclipse ritual on the 33rd ley line. The Templar meridians, which are the secret dragon lines. Charlie Memorial happening on the eclipse. And the eclipse is part of the Templar meridians, or the different turning points of the sun and the moon and the different 19-year cycles. Every 19.5 years, something big goes down.
Not every event has to do with esotericism or full moons and new moons and ley lines and all of that other stuff. Like, again, sometimes people are reaching and searching and they're going to find what they're looking for. And it's to reaffirm their own bias and narratives. And so sometimes groups do use, but again, like, everyone's just using the same narrative for every single thing that happens in the world. Anyway, I don't think that's helping. And again, I do like Dollar Vigilante, so I don't want to make it seem like I'm like slamming him or anything. I'm not. He shares a lot of good content as well. But a lot of times he does miss the mark, and he is, because of that, and if people are just listening to his content and not verifying for themselves, like, you're going to be brainwashed, respectfully speaking. And that's why I started doing these videos online, to give a little bit more of I guess I would say, like, an expert opinion.
The symbols of the eclipse, as you can see in this painting by Renee, and you see the tripod. Here's the tripod with George Washington laying the cornerstone, faces east for the sun, because the tripod is an ancient symbol and it is used to find eclipses with the meridians and the different ley lines. The solar and lunar eclipses mapped out by these stone circles. This was the geomagnetic ley line that had a lot of energy in it, but also was able to predict when the eclipses were going to happen. The Knights Templars came into America. Here's Rhode Island, where they actually have a Templar construction. It has 3 windows. The sun is at one of the windows because this is how they were able to map out the eclipse. Astrologers use this term, turning point. Solar turning point is the September equinox coming up on the 22nd. It's the new year with the sun. And the different 8 cardinal turning points, which is where you get the rose compass, which is the sun logo, has the 32 spokes. That goes back to the rose compass.
It's ridiculous. A serious question too to people that are saying, "Oh, that was a fake body in the coffin." Respectfully speaking, have you been to an open casket funeral? I've been to multiple. I can tell you that didn't look unusual to me. And yeah, people are trying to say that Erica Kirk was involved and her dealings with Trump, and then, like, because of being involved in pageants, or not surprising. It's insulting to her, but again, like, it's not like she's ever going to watch this stuff. But again, I've lost people as well, including overseas. And if anyone was to say that I was somehow involved in that, it would be absolutely fucking disgusting. Disgusting. And so, anyway.
The whole thing was like a mix of like Soviet Union / Nazi Germany propaganda sort of a fake event, mixed with like a World Wrestling, or what do they call it? WEF or something now? I don't know what they call it. I still call it WWE or WWF. Oh, that's what they call it, WWE. Yeah, it used to be called WWF, I think. Wait, the rest of it looked like it was like a World Wrestling Federation sort of a thing. Like the wife of Charlie Kirk comes out. Her husband just got killed. Comes out like she's like Steve Austin gonna go fight Hulk Hogan or something.
Hello.
Yeah, who has fireworks at their funeral? The whole thing was bizarre. But it's not that bizarre when you know what it actually was. It was like a big event to try to fool people into thinking that something happened that didn't, basically, and get them all voting it. Like it was like a big political rally for like 8 hours. And I didn't know anything about Charlie Kirk's wife. I barely knew anything about Charlie Kirk. But I've learned quite a bit in the last couple of weeks. But just like so many of these people, like almost all the people that you know that are public figures, that are supposedly like, you know, political talkers and stuff like that, they're all actors, including Charlie Kirk's wife.
I certainly would not turn my back on President Trump. I am a huge supporter of his.
When I saw President Trump say the things that he said yesterday, I thought, exactly, that is the man I voted for. We voted for the wall.
Who cares?
On her own. And since his passing, she's also amassed all of his wealth, plus an additional at least $5 million in donations.
Yeah, that's what being a widow is. It's getting, you know, the inheritance or whatever. I'm sure she would rather have her.
Like, he was basically created by AIPAC. He got like hundreds of millions of dollars in donations. It's insane. Now, whether he started to...
More proof needs to be put in that, because people are saying that he didn't accept foreign donations.
Change and they killed him, or it was always part of the plan to do this and stage his death. I don't know. Either one, I'd be open to. I guess we'll probably see in the future. It'll probably become more clear in the future. But really interesting that his wife, she also went to a Jesuit school. like how, like this, she's like as deep state as it gets. Then while she's on stage with Trump, she's flashing the horns, which some people say also means I love you, but kind of interesting. They usually will flash their stuff and say, no, it's just, it means something else. So this thing goes on for like 8 hours. And Trump goes on stage and calls Charlie, drumroll please, a master builder.
This is the turning point, and they've left us so many clues. It should be so obvious now. Freemasons. Donald Trump is now doing his talk at Charlie Kirk's funeral, and listen to what he says here.
I got to know him very well, and so immediately that Charlie was actually a master builder of people.
He is a master builder.
Charlie was actually a master builder of people.
What does that mean? Freemason, master builder. Freemasonry is an ancient and honorable fraternity. The master builder is a title bestowed upon...
Even with the Freemasons, there are people within like the Freemason occult, whatever you want to call it, that are good people. There are bad people in all organizations and communities and groups. There are people that are Freemasons that identify as Freemasons even now. People that are on the right, that are truthers, that even say, yeah, I'm a Freemason.
On those who have demonstrated their commitment to the principles of Freemasonry from this world. They're all about to come out.
Okay, is there anything else?
Speaking of events coming up without Charlie Kirk, of course they've had J.D. Vance of Palantir and the U.S. government hosting a show on the first day. Then they had Masadi.
Okay, let's see.
Slash in the news.
Oh my God, they're getting the fittest flat earther. Again, I used to watch some of his content, but I've called a few of his videos out. But if anyone's taking this guy seriously, respectfully speaking, when it comes to assessing the Charlie Kirk assassination, you're out of your goddamn mind. You're literally out of your mind. Look at his videos when he says that like, oh, people that are now popular and famous, that like Trump is Elvis. Like, there's just so many things that this guy say that it's clearly so easily debunked.
Taking shots like it was nothing. Do I even need to go there? Oh, and all the shots from there and shots from there, that's just muddying the waters so you don't know it was fake. Did the Running Man, you loved it. Kind of made me think of something. You brushed your blonde hair.
CIA Special Agent Tracy Walder. Great to have you both here. Mike, how do these spread? And by the way, why are we seeing so many anti-Semitic conspiracy theories right now?
Well, as I wrote about
in one of my books, all conspiracy theories essentially have a hint of anti-Semitism, and all anti-Semitism is based around conspiracy theories. It's very natural for an unexpected traumatic event like Charlie Kirk's murder, caught on camera in front of hundreds of people, instantly broadcast around the world, to send people spinning off into wild theories of what happened, why it happened, who did it. We had no idea for almost 2 days. That is a petri dish where conspiracism and paranoia are going to grow. And everyone is going to latch onto a different theory based on whatever your own personal beliefs are. Whatever you wanted the shooting to be, for that, it was you. And it spreads instantly on social media.
By the way, Mike, should we trust you? Aren't you a Rothschild? Aren't you behind everything?
I'm a Rothschild. I'm not one of the Rothschilds. If I were, I would be living on my yacht and counting my paintings.
Okay, great. Because I thought that was a room on your yacht. I was mistaken.
When I first heard that all conspiracy theories are antiseptic, I thought, oh, that's being like kind of, yeah, that's exaggerating a bit. But then I was trying to think of any like really big conspiracy theory that doesn't actually involve like the Jews / Khazarian, these sort of people. And actually, there's not many of them, so he's kind of right. But there's a reason that all these conspiracy theories always talk about these same people, because it's always the same people doing all these things.
It's like France, Germany, Norway, Lebanon. And then if you scroll over to the right, you can start to see it's Mossad, it's this, killed in a hotel room, killed in a car crash, killed in this, killed in that, Mossad, Mossad, Mossad. Now we're in the 1980s. Let's get back over this side. Beirut, Lebanon, France. And like, is any country off limits? Mossad, executor, Mossad, 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 Israel Defense Force, IDF, question mark, not sure we can claim that's Mossad, okay? Now we get into the 90s. You can see all the countries, Turkey. All right, so now we're in the 90s. Brussels, Spain, Lebanon, France, Malta, Gaza Strip. So they're going to say, oh, they're only killing people. They're only calling Hamas, 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 Jordan, right? At what point does America wake up? And now we get into 2000, and then this is where it really starts to get crazy. I think it just said 72 killed between 2000 and 2005. Watch how long it takes me. This video, I should like actually speed it up here, but I just want you guys to see how crazy this shit is, because it took me, I was scrolling in 2000, like, is this going to end? 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 Nope, nope, nope. And like I start rapid scrolling here for a minute, because it's like, what the fuck? I had no clue there was this many assassinations. So
reporting of the Diario de Mexico newspaper and the subsequent independent and investigative journalism of Crónicas de Levante and La Voz de Aztlán. On October 10th, 2001, 1 month after the Israeli-engineered false flag attacks of 9/11, two Mossadi basically doing it again, because they now control basically all of the U.S. government with this Charlie Kirk act from it. And drum roll, please. Let's go to Will Blitzer, the Situation Room. What's going on, Wolf? Yeah, Chef, breaking. U.S. Counterterrorism Center warns of Al-Qaeda threat. The U.S. National Counterterrorism Center has warned that Al-Qaeda remains in active danger, citing new calls for attacks on the United States. Yeah, here we go again. Of course, Al-Qaeda is the CIA. This is very well known by anyone who's looked into it at this point. You had Laura Loomer coming out and saying the Muslims are going to attack again. Of course, she's a total shill, just like all of them. And Sam Tripoli posted, just remember the last time Loomer said a false flag was coming, Texas suddenly was flooded out of nowhere that killed 100 Christian children on July 4th. Yeah, so I expect something pretty big to happen very soon. We'll see, though, because they're losing control. This apocalypse is we're getting down to the good part now, where a lot of people are starting to figure it out. I think it'll be so hard for them to figure out the full thing, because in general,
you can't handle the truth.
Most people will not be able to handle understanding what's actually going on. But that's okay. That's okay. We'll see what happens. But getting back to Charlie Kirk and his funding and stuff like that, Charlie Kirk's longtime top donor was Jewish billionaire, what a surprise, Robert Shillman, who cut off funding days before Kirk's death. That's interesting. Shillman was a major benefactor of Kirk's organization, contributing millions to Turning Point U.S.
Hello, Steve. What are you doing?